Everybody's got a blank page, a story they're writing today, a wall that they're climbing. You can carry the past on your shoulders. You can start over.
Welcome to Battleground Believers, where we want to tell his story through your stories. Many engage in debates about the existence of God and seek empirical evidence, often questioning the validity of scriptures. However, a transformed life is undeniable. The most powerful way to share the gospel is through the Word of God and its impact on lives. So welcome to Battleground Believers, where we are dedicated to sharing his story through your stories.
Welcome to Battleground Believers. Thank you for joining us again. We're going to continue the conversation with Matt Carter. And thank you again to Randy Barr and his studio, 2 Bar Blues Recording and Media Studio, for letting us use his studio and being our producer. Thank you so much, Randy. We appreciate you so much. When we last left off, you had just graduated from Ranger School and you were getting ready to go in RAS 2, which is Ranger Assessment something. Yeah. And that's where the conversation had ended last time, and we're going to pick up there. We established that at this point in your life, there's no real faith or anything. So, RAS 2, take it away, kid.
All right. So this is where my life got funky at, technically, right? Okay. So I told you, and I don't know if I told you on camera or if it was. I think I did. But so Stone, he finished first in our class, and I was in the top 5. But so during RASP 2, before we actually got to there or whatever, there was a point in time where I got to meet with some gentlemen that Stone had to meet with, right? That came and talked to us, right?
When you say gentlemen, are you trying to keep their identity secret or something? Okay.
So with these guys, and they were part of, let's just say it's a covert, they like recruit for like a covert unit type thing.
Okay,
right?
I know what you're talking about.
Whatever. And they have other training facilities and stuff like that. So with that, I got offered a deal with them. And so did Stone, which both of us, me being the follower I am, I decided I would go with him and do it again.
Dude, I had no idea.
So here we are now, so you hear about all these other ones on YouTube and stuff talking about like the CIA and having ground crew and air crew and stuff like that, and it's all this stuff that they have these highly trained people to do these jobs to keep whatever away, right? So these units were kind of like that, but there's not as many of them as what they are. These are the type of units that, okay, so the unit that I was in, we were called Death's Angel. So if we got the call and we were going somewhere, somebody or multiple people were dying.
Were you still part of the U.S. military, or were you now taking
Technically, no.
Okay.
Technically, no. We were no longer part of the Army anymore. Now we are considered a different branch, which actually they would consider you.
So you're in the
paramilitary or whatever, and no.
Were you in the special operations side of the house?
Yes and no. Yeah, there was people from special operations that were in the same units as us.
Did you have to get permission from the military to join?
We'll just put it this way: the people who recruit you, the military don't have a choice. If you say you're willing to do it, they have to let you go. The government, pretty much the U.S. military, doesn't matter what branch you're in, cannot tell these people no. They get the choice.
I had no idea.
So with that, they have. So after that now, so now I'm even falling, I would say, further away And I don't know if it's because of like the things that you would have to do and what you would have to go through and stuff to do it, because they have their own training facilities that they send you to in different places. There's one in Virginia. There's one in North Carolina that they send to you. These are private owned training facilities.
But they're not structured the way like a ranger school or anything, right? They're more...
No. So they're teaching you. I mean, it's.
You had to feel pretty good as a young man being in these.
I don't know how many people, like, I've listened to a lot of like the other stories and stuff of other people who went like the CIA type undercover type stuff, and they have all this deep. The only thing looking back that I can see,
we're not going to get in trouble for hearing this, are we?
No, that's why there's certain. I'm not saying names of certain things. Like,
yeah, you're fine.
I'm gonna keep it very vague on certain things, and I can tell you different countries that I've been into, but I'm not gonna tell you time frames. I'm not gonna tell you anything like that could link us to, because the issue is these units, which there's only 5 of them. And I'm not gonna tell you how many people are in each unit or anything like that, but there's only 5 of them. And it's one of those things, like, you're so far in that, like, if anything goes wrong,
you're just a stone on the wall?
Here is they didn't know anything about us.
Oh, I get it.
You're doing your own thing at that point in time. The U.S. wants no ties to these units.
Oh, I get
to it. So, like I said, the one that I was in, we were considered the angel of death. So, like, we were the ones, like, if my unit was going, people were dying. There was we were not just going to do surveillance. They've already had done all that stuff. Whoever they used to do that stuff has been done. It's been established already. Now it's time that they'd already decided
somebody needs to take out hard targets.
Somebody needs to die. Yeah. So.
Were you there for Osama bin Laden?
No.
Dang it. That's sweet.
Now, I tell you, like, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan.
These are countries you've been in?
Afghanistan, Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Hades.
Haiti?
I think that's about all of them that I've been to. Some of them multiple times.
All these years?
Some of them multiple times, but...
All these years I thought you were in a Ranger battalion. I thought you were in a Ranger battalion and just did Ranger stuff. And
so the messed up part about the whole thing is like, you went through all that just for, like I mean, personally, it messes your life up. It really does.
Yeah,
like, you decide to do this, and it just, you're not. I don't even know if I was 19 yet when I said yes to doing it.
Yeah, but did you go to any really cool military schools like Halo or Pathfinder or?
They do their own stuff. They teach you a bunch of different stuff, like through all the different type of schools and stuff. You get sent still to other places.
So you did like Halo type stuff, but through their school, sniper stuff, but through their sniper school.
Stuff. Yep, all of it. Sharpshooting.
So without getting specific, so you've experienced combat and things like that,
but not technically. This is where it becomes hard, because there's I can't remember his name. I think it's like Joey something.
Buttafuoco?
He was on Dual Survivor. I can't think of what his name is. But he was like special operations and stuff like that. And then he went to the CIA with their ground crew type thing, and he was calling himself a military or a wartime veteran or something like that. I don't remember how he worded it or whatever. And he got all kinds of bashing about it, because they're like, you weren't military because you were in the CIA, blah blah blah, type whatever. Which even then the CIA still separates themselves from, because they are considered contractors, not technically CIA. So,
Did you wear like a military uniform, or did you get to wear a hybrid of military uniform?
you would wear all kinds of different stuff depending on what the situation was or what they wanted you to do. Like, because it'd be certain times or whatever that you had to kind of, okay, one of the things that they teach you is okay, how you can turn somebody into your friend fast, right? To get information out of them.
Wait, so are we friends because we're friends, or because you're trying to...
So, like, if you jump into one of the ways that they talk about or whatever, it's like, if I jump into a conversation and I just start asking you all kinds of these questions, right? And you don't know me. Like, let's just say it's a garbage man, right? And I get thrown into this garbage man, but I start asking you all kinds of these personal questions type things. You're going to be standoff, right? You're not going to want to talk to me, right? Now, if I approach it a different way and I say, Brad, did you hear that garbage man is the number one job in the U.S. to have type thing? What are you going to say to me at that point?
Oh, I'm going to start sharing everything.
You're gonna be like, no, it's not. That's a bunch of blah, this and that. And then you're going to start telling me stuff. And then I'm going to make another statement. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to state a fact or some sort of statement that's going to still coach you into saying other things. And now we just passed that thing. Now mentally in your head, we're friends. So now I'm going to start asking questions without asking questions.
Yeah, you get me to talk. Yeah.
And you're going to tell me things that you wouldn't have just told somebody you just met 30 minutes ago. But now you are.
I always thought you were just an Ranger battalion.
So, like, but with that all, though, what I was trying to get to is being, I guess, like, in something like that, and you not being able to share, definitely when you're actively doing it, you can't share certain things with even family members and stuff like that. Like, they could, like, I think I pulled my military stuff, and, like, after a certain point, it's just like, I'm cut off. Like, there's nothing there. And then there's other ones, like, other people have pulled it and they can't see anything. Like, it's completely blacked out. Like, that's how covered up they will do for different stuff like that. Like, and I believe, now that, like, when I was in and stuff, I was like, oh, well, this is a really tight-knit group. Like, there's probably really not that many of us. But then you had people like, who's that one you listened to? Sean Ryan, and that other guy I was telling you about. Now there's this other guy that's out there that's was a spy for the CIA and stuff. And they're all coming out and they're talking about how many there was 100 people in their area, or there was 1,000 people or whatever. And that's like, dude, how covert and how much under the radar paramilitary type stuff does our government actually run that none of us know about?
How long were you in? How long was your military service?
So my actual military service, or how long did I do all of that?
How long? Yeah, how long were you?
So from the time I started that to the time I actually was able to release or whatever, because it's not really considered I don't know what you'd call it, like a
military career.
Yeah, like a military career or whatever. It would have been about 8 years.
So you were covert 8 years?
Yeah.
Or everything was 8 years?
No, it was total like 10 years total.
Total 10 years. And they just
Very
let
close.
you go? Hey, you know all these secrets, have a great time?
You can't. That's the thing. Like, you're still held to a certain thing. That's why I said I can't say certain things. I can't go into details about different things that we did or whatever to where it would incriminate anybody or any organization for what happened.
See,
like, some of those things that have happened are still to this day, they don't know, or somebody else got the blame for it. And I still believe that stuff's going on.
I thought when you were telling me there's things I don't want to talk about, I thought it was because it was too emotional.
No.
Not because you were trying to keep national secrets.
No, there was things that I can't share.
I was under the
but I wasn't also I also wasn't gonna go into like this interview with you wanting to do this stuff and me just trying to bullshit shit off my shoulder of, oh yeah, I was in this and I did, you know, this type thing, and oh yeah, I did this and this and this type thing.
No, I don't want you to, we don't want you to lie. We want you to tell the truth. But I was under the impression you were going to be like, you know, my friend Billy got his face blown off in front of me and I can't talk about that. That's what that's what I thought you were.
No, but we did get into firefights and stuff and battles and everything where I have lost. There was people in our unit that got killed. Like, and the sad part about that is most of them were some sort of tier 1, tier 2 military op to at some point in time, and then they switched over to this. But it all gets covered up. And
So you're a kid. You go to basic training, AIT, OSIT. You go to pre-ranger or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
You go to ranger school. You graduate.
I'm graduating and I get taught. I'm not joking when I said gentlemen. These are two guys who came up in completely
3-piece suit, probably
suits.
Yeah.
Professional as can be.
I had friends that went into some not like that. They went into like Delta and stuff, and when they got approached with guys in 3-piece suits. But
looking back at it, though, I think I know a little bit of why. So, at that time, we were in war. We were going into our second war in the U.S. And I think those type of units were needed. But I also think that the reason why I was selected, Stone was selected, and I'm sure there was others, too, that didn't actually make it to one of those, I would say, I personally, after going through the training of a ranger, would call a ranger a tier 1, but a lot of people consider them a tier 2 because you're not Delta or whatever. So, but I think they wanted people for these units to be people who were younger and didn't have as much of an established life where if something did go wrong, it was easy to wash hands of.
Well, yeah. Well,
it was somebody that you're not known of. You're not known.
Yeah.
You didn't actually, like, you went through these trainings and they picked you out here before you ever made it to a real unit. So you weren't established in the Army or in the Marines or in the whatever. You were picked before you ever made it. So your name wasn't really out there.
I was going to say, what was it like being in you're in a unit with whatever your unit was, and now you got tier 1 operators that come in, and you're 19 years old, and you got Sergeant First Class Wojak or whatever that's running the operation, and he's looking at you, and he's got years and years of experience, and you're just a brand new.
So I don't think anybody looked at anybody like that, because there was people who came in after, obviously, with the time that I was in there, that had to still come into our unit and stuff. But I think, okay, you know how military is. We joke, we play, we pick on each other, we do all this stuff, right? And it only gets worse the longer you're in and the different stuff, and the jokes get dirtier. They get like when you came to this unit, there was none of that. Like, this unit was, I mean, there was still some joking or whatever, but there was straight respect. You knew what the job was, what your job was going to be, what this was, who this person was, and you really didn't want to necessarily know you knew your team, but there was only certain things you were told about the missions that you were going on, and that's all you needed to know. You didn't get into the political part of it. Yeah. This service actually does. Like, you go to war, like, when they deployed for Afghanistan, we knew we were going to Afghanistan because of 9/11. They attacked us, right? We knew when we went into Iraq, you're deploying over there, you're going in there to kick their asses because they treat their people and they have weapons of mass destruction, whatever. Yeah, right. When we're going into these situations that we're going into, Like I said, we know we're going to go kill somebody. That's all we needed to know. We didn't get the political side of it, of why this person has to die or what this person did. It's this person is your target. This is the person you guys are going to kill.
Yeah.
And then you get it done.
Why'd you get out?
Family. As you get older and you get more kids and more whatever, it became harder and harder and harder to do.
Were you married to somebody else during that time, or?
Yes. That was my first wife during that time. And it did probably put a strain on our relationship, because she would try to call me out on things or whatever and say I wasn't doing what I was saying I was doing, when in all honesty I wasn't doing what I said I was doing.
Yeah, you
because
say,
I
hey,
couldn't say what I was doing.
Were you like, shut up, you're gonna get, you gotta...
That was the hardest part about it, is living a life and actually trying to grow a life at the same time. You couldn't do it. And like I think if I could tell them, if these units, I can't say that they're even are still around or whatever type thing, but if I could say what I would do for these type of units moving forward to make it any better for anybody, is if you choose to do that, don't choose to continue a life too. That is your life.
Yeah, don't get married.
Don't get married.
Did you have very much
Don't
off
have
time?
kids. Yeah, you have, like, you go and you do your training. You get your stuff. You get to the unit. You're like almost like a rapid response unit, right? So then you go and you almost live a life, and you do your thing, and you have this job that they have for you or whatever. But then when they need you, you have to be able to respond.
So did you show up in an office like, hey, I go to an office building every day, and then all of a sudden they'll say, hey, we need you guys to fly out tonight. So you're telling your wife,
So I'm not going to tell you like what they do, but you have a job. They give you a job or whatever the job is, or whatever. You go and you do your thing, whatever. You still have training, so you still pull off the, let's say you're in like some sort of reserve or National Guard type thing. So you have that time you can go and do trainings and stuff like that, and then you can deploy like that, and you have the excuse.
Man,
but I can't give all the secrets out.
Yeah, and forgive me, I'm not trying to give away national secrets. I mean, even though I'm like super curious, but I get it. My father was in the White House, and I asked him all the time, questions. He's like,
I'm sure he knows something about something. I'm sure.
Well, but he won't share it with me.
No.
I'm like, tell me about Roswell.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say that these even like these
scream.
things are even still around, if they're still doing it. If this is something that I just happened to stumble upon because I was in the right place at the right time for the wars happening.
All these years.
And I, was here.
All these years.
All the years, what?
I had no clue. I thought you were in a Ranger battalion. God.
I had a Ranger tab.
I know you have a Ranger tab. I have mad respect for that. But I thought you were... I had no idea that you were...
You weren't curious...
You just put that on the internet. Like everybody we work with and everybody we know just found out that you don't mess with him.
But that's not the thing behind it. So getting in further or whatever, right?
Well, we're running out of time. The next
episode.
The next episode, we need to.
How I reconnected with God.
Yeah. So I'm assuming during this time, was God a part of your life during this time? Did you go to church?
No. I did not go to church for quite a while. Yeah. No. And I think a lot of it had to do with is.
Well, you're the scenario of death.
The stuff.
The harbinger of death.
Say mercenary, but unit. We were a unit.
Yeah, and I mean, I use this term.
Whatever.
Yeah, when you're coming into
mercenary is illegal.
We don't do any things. But
military contractor.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever
you want to say.
Whatever the terminology is, I would assume now that to deal with the things that you're seeing, and God's probably not there. And then it's your first marriage, and that probably was rough.
So, and that's what I was trying to get at too before we end this episode. This episode might go a little long or whatever, but is the things that you have to see, and I can only imagine that the CIA ground crew would be like the exact same thing or whatever. The things that you have to see and do or whatever, you literally sit there and you do question, is there really a God? Like, is there a God that literally less than 12 hours ago, I got handed a folder that told me this guy's my target, and now we're putting a bullet through his head. Like, and a God just sits back there and watches that?
Well, we're coming into the end of this episode, and I mean, I think those are questions that are difficult. I think that you're, again, I know clue that you.
So there's a lot of people that don't know, and I get asked a lot about my tattoos. Like, I have a tattoo on my forearm here that says "No love," but then on the same arm, I also have the Bible verse Romans 6:23. No love is military-wise because this is my trigger hand, right? And the things I've had to do or whatever. The Romans 6:23 always reminded me of, for the wages of sin is death. That's kind of my whole justification.
I remember we had a drill sergeant tell us one time, he said, I went to sniper school, and they ask you, if you're guarding a gate and your grandmother walks through that gate and you're told to shoot anything that comes through that gate and your grandma walks through that gate, what do you feel? And I answered, recoil. I thought, man, that's twisted. And that's kind of no love, right? But as we end this episode, we're going to go just a few minutes longer than normal, and we prepare for the next episode.
Before I let you go, so part of the selection for this type of unit or whatever, those two people sit you down and they ask questions like that. Let's just say there is a question that's asked. I don't know if they do it to everybody, but I got asked a question like that. Another time we'll talk about the question I got asked. That would be for another one.
Yeah,
but it's one of those ones that they try to make you.
Well,
they try to find something that you really care about, or that they feel like you're against, and then they want to put it against you to see what you're going to say. Like, are you going to give up all of your beliefs and everything just for what this is because we told you to do it, or are you going to stand your ground and do what you feel is right?
Well, yeah.
And I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to them. I really don't know. I still, to this day, I don't know, because everybody I've talked to that's done that type of thing, like, it's a different type of question that they ask you. And when they answer it to me, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like the same answer I would have gave or whatever. And you're here, so, like, and it's like one of those things. Like, I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer to it. I really, if I ever find them, I'll ask. No, I'm just.
Well, as we end this, then the next episode we'll talk about how you came back to faith and how you came out of that life and really found your faith and became a man of God that you are today and dealt with that. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Yep. And thank you for joining us again. Thank you, Randy Barr and Two Bar Blues Recording and Media Studio. I will remember that someday. I know I looked down to read it. And sorry we went long today. Again, we want to continue to tell his story through your stories. Thank you for joining us.
Before I took a breath, you breathe your life in me. You have been so kind.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Battleground Believers. We hope that the stories shared have touched your heart or made a positive impact in your life. We created this podcast to fulfill the Great Commission, as outlined in Matthew 28 verses 18 to 20, where Jesus said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. and surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Thank you for joining us at Battleground Believers. Remember, the best way to share the gospel and his story is through your story. Have a great day.